What a coincidence! You've stumbled on this again. Welcome to a holiday in the tropical rainforest ecosystem. Got your posture ready? Are you lying down? Left leg not on top of the right one. A few months ago, this rainforest ecosystem was created. From an empty water world to a thriving habitat where many ecologies coexist. Do you still remember which wild animals live here? Let's first take a quick look back. For example, this huge apex predator, the centipede, the loving couple of slugs, and many other friends, charging toward the panda king millipede. Here, everyone has their own role. No matter how many legs they have, no matter how small they are, like this tiny pink isopod. It helps break down decaying matter. And its white isopod friends protect larger creatures from mold. Remember this one. These uncommon, yet beautiful cockroaches. And that resident who even eats earthworms. He still doesn't seem to be getting fat in this aquatic micro-ecosystem. The water remains clear, and the creatures in it have an ethereal beauty, separate from the turmoil above the water. Crustaceans and amphibians alike. They form a tightly knit community, foraging together, ensuring their community endures. However, there's still one confusing incident. In the previous episode, we thought he had eaten half an earthworm. In fact, that might not be the case. Because if you look closely, you'll see the worm under this rock managed to escape when it got separated from him. But we're not sure whether it was half a body or whole. Presumably he wanted to eat the entire worm. But it seemed a bit beyond his ability. Hey, the isopods you see here are also very rare and expensive animals. You often see them wandering about. I really hope their tiny population can breathe steadily. But you know, nothing is certain in nature. There are also some ant stories in this ecosystem, such as this elegant trapjaw ant colony. And note the massive army ant camp. Asian army ants, often called raider ants. They have two queens, each able to lay hundreds, even thousands of eggs. This time, they've brought all their citizens here. They react quickly to anything dropped into the vivarium, forming foraging trails. And no matter what happens, they can carry the prey back to the nest. It's hard to imagine what could stop them from reaching their goals. With perseverance, numbers, and an openness to many different ways of doing things, they've become an unstoppable force. In this ecosystem, the only colony that dares challenge them is the land-roaming army ants. Before we introduce them, let's first look at the new friends in the aquatic habitat. 3 Kuhli loaches. They can grow to 8 to 12 centimeters in length. We put them here because they're extremely social. They'll drop by others' homes whether they know them or not. Their job is to help with internal cleaning. They're natural vacuum cleaners. The pond fish, crustaceans, and amphibians are clearly living happily here. In fact, this is quite a spacious pond, with room for a few other animals. Who else would you like to add? Leave your ideas in the comments. Interestingly, this sense of well-being has made them start breeding like crazy. Look, we can see many eggs of different colors here. Are these loach eggs? But for some reason, after a while, these eggs seem to have disappeared. Yet we didn't see any fry at all. No idea where they went. Previously, around these eggs, there lived lots of interesting tiny creatures. Looking closely, they're small ostracods. a kind of tiny crustacean found in almost all freshwater and marine habitats. Sea shrimp. But we still can't be sure. They're responsible for the disappearance of the eggs. What do you think happened? Where did all the adorable fish babies go? Back to the surface. What we see are the slugs. Gentle giants of the terrarium. Ambling casually through the rainforest. Why is there only one from the couple? Let's go find the other one. Look, it's climbed up onto the glass tank. What's going on? It seems to be trying to flee this rainforest. Did something happen to it? Let's zoom in and see. It looks badly injured. Even on its last legs. Suddenly it hits me. This gentle giant was bitten by the centipede. You can clearly see these two scars left by the centipede's venomous jaws. It's truly tragic. In theory, mollusks don't really feel pain. But from the looks of it now, it seems to be suffering. There's nothing to be done. It must bear the pain on its own. We can only leave it some food and hope it recovers soon. Sadly, though, this slug died a few hours after we saw it, and its body was taken away by the raider ants to be slowly consumed. This is the cruelty of nature. When some animals meet misfortune, others may be doing extremely well. That's exactly the case for the raider ants. After they finished devouring the slug, their shadows kept appearing all over the rainforest, grabbing anything that passed on the forest floor. Scenes of them swarming like this happen often. Whenever they discover a big food source, the ants rush in and carry it straight back to their colony. Sometimes they even catch live prey. Look at this poor isopod. Startled when they showed up. Interestingly, there's a formidable army that will become their strong rival. Even though this colony isn't large yet, they're the raider ants known as invaders. A primitive, aggressive species from Southeast Asia, famous for aggressive behavior and painful stings. They're often compared to true army ants. Given the chance, they'll prey on all kinds of insects, even small vertebrates and amphibians. They're also among the few species that raid other nests and kidnap brood to raise as their own. Those are two main reasons we added them to this ecosystem. The second reason is their flexibility. As nomads, they're always moving their nest. You'll soon see both behaviors. Meanwhile, on the forest floor, you can see some terrarium dwellers wandering around. They're probably looking for food. So we airdropped a few fresh cockroaches. First, a beautiful roach came to take a look and took the first bite. Then another kind of ant appeared. Will the raiders show up? Hopefully they arrive soon. Preferably before the other raiders find the food and carry the roaches away. But as you can see, they did come in huge numbers. What happened next was baffling. They brought their brood out too. And we even saw the queen emerge. That means they're already moving house. That's wild, considering they just moved in, right? A truly fascinating ant species. They never really settle down. And they can easily abandon any spot in the rainforest, constantly on the move. Not picky about their nesting environment. Behaviors that seem redundant do have reasons. This mobility means They never have to worry about losing nest after nest. Nor will they become victims of overcrowding by the raider ants. So where are the other raiders? Why didn't they show up this time to seize the food? Turns out, one night, they'd already clashed with the invaders. As you can see, a group of invader ants were hunting, and the raiders moved in to enjoy the feast. They hunt like wolves, in coordinated packs. They divide their roles. Some rush in fast and start attacking, while others sprint off to recruit reinforcements to swarm and snatch the prey back. This was their first skirmish. Not sure if the invaders were ready for a battle. Often, a massive ant war leads to hundreds of casualties, and the invaders didn't hesitate. They began to fight back against the raiders, after evolving side by side for millions of years. Southeast Asian invader ants and these raiders clearly know exactly who they're up against. Whoever provokes them gets hit back. Let's watch their battle again. Don't get it wrong. That yellow liquid is honey. Look, a dead cricket has appeared on the ground. The greedy raider ants have the advantage in numbers. Any other ants that want it must fight them. The invader ants join the battle, but the raiders' numerical edge kept their casualties minimal. If we want balance, we can only feed the invaders, so they grow stronger. You might ask, what about the rainforest's other animals? Can they stand up to these roving, frenzied colonies? Colonies. First, these isopods can only be food. Mr. Centipede isn't interested in them. Other ants live in their own specific environments. The rainforest's vast size, structure, and floral diversity provide every animal with enough space. And they know staying within their natural habitats keeps them safe in most cases. However, if the raider colonies throw the rainforest into chaos, we'll introduce predators as a countermeasure. In nature, some behaviors look unnatural, yet they're interesting, and may still be natural. For example, 2 weeks ago, the invader colony refused protein, ate only sugars, and lived up in a tree, and for a week, didn't even forage on that darn tree. Strange behavior. Any theories? See how they pace around the canopy. If it means anything, maybe it's to avoid competition on the forest floor. Or they're camping out, letting their young rest. If you keep ants, do you know this behavior? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, for now, there seems to be peace among the colonies. And it may last for a long time. Here you can see the raider ants moving over a mound, while the invaders feast nearby. A little farther ahead, there's a third kind of ant, from an unknown colony. Maybe we should give them a proper name. They're very shy females. What should we call them? They're strongly averse to conflict, prefer hunting and foraging alone. And they eat leftovers from other colonies. So, many times, they'll choose the airdrop food. Smart girls indeed. That's the end of today's video. From this tank ecosystem, we've witnessed nature's complexity and rawness. One last question. Which animal inside do you like most? Thanks for watching and subscribe. Hope you have a wonderful day. And see you next video.